The world's juggling fire on every front. Washington and Delhi trade punches in public but patch things up in private. Satellites stalk each other in orbit. London tempts global talent while Trump slaps six-figure visa fees. And Macron pushes Palestine even as the US and Israel walk away. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, America almost pierced its own doctors out of hospitals. The fight looks loud, but the real game is happening in the shadows. Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint. I'm your host, Nelson John. This is your smart daily briefing on what matters. From big moves in business to headlines shaping India and the world, we cut through the noise so you start your day informed and ahead. It's Tuesday, September 23rd. Let's get started. Here's how you patch up a friendship when both sides are throwing diplomatic punches. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio sat down with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in New York on Monday. And both came out saying all the right words about being critical partners. Let's break down what's really happening here. Just days after Trump slapped India with his $100,000 H-1B visa bombshell and cranked tariffs to 50%, America's top diplomat is suddenly calling India-US ties of critical importance. That's diplomatic speak for we need to talk. The meeting happened on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, covering everything from trade and defense to energy and pharmaceuticals. But here's the thing. This wasn't just a routine chat. It was damage control. Our conversation covered a range of bilateral and international issues of current concern. Agreed on the importance of sustained engagement to progress on priority areas, Jaishankar wrote on X. The translation is, we're still friends, but we've got problems to solve. What this really means is both countries realized they'd pushed too hard. Trump's 50% tariff penalty on India came as punishment for New Delhi buying Russian oil, part of his pressure campaign to end the Ukraine war. White House officials like Peter Navarro had been taking shots at India's Russian tie for months. But here's where it gets interesting. After all that public sparring, Trump and Modi quietly announced a breakthrough. They're resuming trade talks, and India is sending Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal to accelerate a bilateral trade agreement. Goyal landed in the US on Monday and immediately met with trade representatives Jamieson Greer in New York. That's not coincidence. That's coordinated diplomacy. The bigger picture, both sides know they need each other. India wants access to American markets and technology. America needs India as a counterweight to China and a reliable partner in the Indo-Pacific. So while Trump's tariff and visa fees grab headlines, the real action is happening in quiet meeting rooms where diplomats hammer out deals. The public fights might be for show, but the private conversations are where relationships get rebuilt. Sometimes the loudest arguments happen right before the biggest breakthroughs. Picture this. You're 500 kilometers above Earth when a foreign satellite suddenly appears 1 kilometer away. Now, that's exactly what happened to an Indian spacecraft in mid-2024, and it's got New Delhi seriously worried about space warfare. Here's what really happened. An Indian Space Research Organization satellite, ISRO satellite, was quietly doing its mapping work when a neighboring country's spacecraft came dangerously close. While officials won't name names, the timing feels deliberate, possibly a flex of space muscle. What this really means is that India now wants bodyguard satellites. Yes, bodyguard satellites. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government is developing orbital protectors that can spot threats and help satellites dodge attacks. Think of them as space bouncers for India's growing satellite fleet. Breaking down the numbers, India operates over 100 satellites. Pakistan has just about 8. But China, they've got more than 930. Now, that's a massive gap that keeps Indian defense officials up at night. The Bodyguard project is part of a bigger $3 billion plan for 50 surveillance satellites, using light detection and ranging technology to track threats in real time. When danger approaches, ground controllers can order satellites to move out of harm's way. We do not have such an orbit tracking capability on 24 basis, admits former ISRO director Sudhir Kumar N. This isn't just paranoia. During India's May conflict with Pakistan, over 400 ISRO scientists worked around the clock supporting military operations. Meanwhile, China reportedly helped Pakistan adjust its satellite coverage. Well, space isn't the final frontier anymore, it's the new battlefield. Here's the thing about global talent wars: timing is everything. While Trump slaps a massive $100,000 fee on US H-1B visas, Britain is planning the opposite move. Keir Starmer's Global Talent Task Force wants to cut visa fees to zero for top scientists, engineers, and digital experts. What this really means: the UK sees an opportunity to poach America's best minds, especially from India. Right now, UK's global talent visa costs £766 per person, plus £1,035 for health coverage. When you compare that to Trump's $100,000 charges, and suddenly Britain looks like a bargaining basement for brilliance. This is huge for Indians. With over 70% of H-1B visas historically going to Indian professionals, Trump's fees hike could redirect this talent stream straight to London. UK Treasury officials are even scrapping inheritance tax rules that scare off wealthy residents. The numbers, they tell the story. Global talent visas jumped 76% last year to 3,901. Now, that was before Trump's bombshell. Here's a moment that could reshape Middle East peace talks forever. At the United Nations on Monday, President Emmanuel Macron announced France would recognize Palestinian statehood, joining a growing chorus of nations pushing for a two-state solution. The timing speaks volumes. Nearly 2 years into the Gaza war that began with Hamas's October 7th attack, killing 1,200 Israelis, over 65,000 Palestinians have died according to local health authorities. The human cost keeps climbing while diplomatic solutions remain elusive. We must pave the way for peace, Macron declared, outlining plans for renewed Palestinian Authority reforms and a French embassy. Malta, Monaco, Andorra, Belgium, Luxembourg, and San Marino also joined the recognition wave. But here's the challenge: Israel's government rejects Palestinian statehood, while the US maintains recognition could complicate peace efforts. Both boycotted Monday's meeting. The question now isn't about politics anymore. It's about saving lives. Here's a plot twist nobody saw coming. After Trump's bombshell $100,000 H-1B visa fee sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley, the White House just threw doctors a lifeline. The proclamation allows for potential exemptions, which can include physicians and medical residents. White House spokesperson Taylor Rogers told Bloomberg on Monday, "Your family doctor might dodge Trump's visa bullet." Let's break down why this matters. When Trump announced that eye-watering fee, he wasn't just targeting tech bros. Well, he was about to kneecap America's healthcare system. Here's the thing: 76 million Americans live in doctor shortage areas. Many gaps get filled by international medical graduates on H-1B visas. Mayo Clinic alone has over 300 approved visas. At $100,000 each, that's $30 million in extra costs. What this really means? Well, Trump's team realized they accidentally aimed their anti-tech weapon at hospitals. Rural America, Trump's base, would be hit the hardest by doctor shortages. That's all for today. Thank you for joining in. We are eagerly looking forward to our next Top of the Morning episode, which will be packed with the latest news. Until then, this is Nelson John signing off. Have a great day.